Alright, well, welcome back, everybody. Whoa, what a day yesterday. What a Saturday. That was fun.
It wasn't, there weren't any big, chaos, big upsets or anything like that. But
there was potential chaos, though.
There was.
We had a lot of potential chaos. But before we talk about yesterday's game, let's look back. We had our MAC title game. Big game, MAC.
Friday night, big
MAC title game, Bowling Green, Northern Illinois. Now, I posted this on our Facebook page. I don't know who remembers this, but Northern Illinois almost beat Ohio State.
They did.
Early in the year. It was the
They were winning for a lot of the
game that we lost to Miami. It's when they almost lost Northern Illinois that day.
I think they were losing in the second half.
They only won by like 2.
I don't know.
It was a very low scoring game, and they barely ended up beating Northern Illinois. So Northern Illinois coming in playing Bowling Green, they've had obviously a decent season to go to the MAC championship game. Bowling Green too strong for Northern Illinois. They
had a really good running back.
Bowling Green just kind of dominated that game.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a ton of it, but I watched enough to where I knew Bowling Green was going to win. And congrats to Bowling Green on their MAC championship.
Northern Illinois' quarterback was, like I said, he was kind of a left-handed Tommy Armstrong. Let's play 500.
Yeah.
Throw it up.
It's fun sometimes.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers did it on Thursday night, and he ended up coming out on top. All right, let's look at Saturday morning games. We had the Temple-Houston, the AAC championship game, and then we had Baylor-Texas, which isn't any game. It's just another Big 12 game.
They need to change that. Before we go anywhere, they need to change that Big 12. No, I don't want to watch just another game on. It's Championship Saturday. But there's not. I don't want to watch Kansas State and West Virginia.
Yeah. West Virginia. Who won that game?
Kansas State won 24-23.
That was the last I saw. But that was a hell of a good game, though.
I know, but it's Championship Saturday.
That's because the Big 12. That's because the Big 12 doesn't have a championship game. So they put everyone in that position to have to watch.
Then put Oklahoma State on that day.
Mm-hmm.
So then the winner is the Big 12 champ. I know that they can't predict that, but have a matchup like that, not Kansas State and West Virginia.
Actually, ended up being a good game, but I get what you're saying.
Still.
So we had Texas and Baylor. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but they were saying with the Baylor game, if Baylor had won, they had a chance at a New Year's Six bowl.
I think so. I think they would have been.
With 2 losses on their record?
They would have been...
Because they were second in the Big 12?
They would have been ahead of Oklahoma State, but now that Oklahoma State Ole Miss is already the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
It's already set in stone.
Because Baylor lost?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
TCU, I think, is higher ranked than Oklahoma State is, but they beat them.
But TCU has 3 losses, don't they?
I don't know. Whatever. I'm not.
Either way. So Texas-Baylor, it was actually a pretty good game. It ended up being a Texas show for most of the first half. They went up 17-0 in the first quarter, and they were dominating the game. Their quarterback was good. Their running back was running well. And I'm like, holy crap, who is this Texas offense? Who's this Texas defense stopping Baylor? Chris Johnson for Baylor, their third-string quarterback that has been the starter. This is his first, start.
Maybe second start.
Maybe second start.
Last week.
But he's played pretty well when he's come in, and I think he's going to do well with Baylor in the future. He got hurt in the second quarter. And that right there...
Story of Baylor's year, I guess.
And they were talking, before he got hurt, they said, what happens if Chris Johnson gets hurt? Because he's their third-string quarterback. Next man up is a walk-on freshman. A walk-on freshman quarterback would have been next up. And so they're talking about, they're like, they have to design a game plan around Chris Johnson. They want to be conservative with him, but he can also move his legs. They don't want to get him hurt. Well, he got hurt while he was running the ball. And he got his knee buckled underneath him. So they bring in a wide receiver who I'm guessing played some quarterback in high school. I didn't really hear too much the story behind him, his background.
He was a wide receiver,
yeah. He wasn't bad. He had a decent arm, but bringing him into the game, all you have is your run game. That's how they designed the rest of the game, was run, and they still almost won.
They came back.
It still came down to the wire. They had a chance to win with the last drive, not a lot of time on the clock. Now, one play I'm going to talk about in this game that I understand, but I'm going to compare it to another game, was an intentional grounding call on Baylor's wide receiver / quarterback in this game. So he's running towards the sideline to try to get out of bounds. He tries to throw a pass, but he's getting tackled. He ends up just throwing it straight out of bounds. Doesn't get past the line of scrimmage. There was a receiver within a few yards. They were saying he came late, But then they end up saying, okay, he got called intentional grounding because he threw it straight out of bounds and it didn't get past the line of scrimmage. If he would have thrown it inbounds towards that receiver in any capacity and it stayed in bounds, it probably would have been intentional grounding. So you flip to the Florida-Alabama game.
So they did not call it?
They called it.
Oh, they called it. Okay.
They called it because he threw it straight out of bounds, not because the receiver wasn't there, but he intentionally threw it out of bounds instead of towards the receiver.
Okay.
Same situation in Florida-Alabama. Coker's running towards the sidelines. As he's getting whipped around and getting tackled, he threw the ball directly out of bounds. He didn't throw it inbounds. It didn't get past the line of scrimmage. A receiver was in the area, but it was thrown out of bounds. They initially called it, and then they picked the flag up and said it wasn't intentional grounding because the receiver was in the area. Now, maybe it's just because I'm not 100% on the rule, but it seems like if the rule is going to be what it is, let's make sure it's consistent across the board, because either it should or should not have been intentional grounding on both teams. But if you're going to call it in one game, you would think the refs in the other game are going to make the exact same call, because he clearly threw it straight out of bounds and not towards the receiver, and it didn't get past the line of scrimmage. I don't know. Maybe you need to ask your dad on that one, because I don't know the rule 100%.
I'll have to ask John Jay about that.
I just thought it was kind of funny how it got called in one and not in the other. But then again, it's Alabama, and they don't like to call penalties against
That's why
them.
I said typical.
And we'll talk about that later, because I got another call I want to gripe about. But Texas ended up beating Baylor. Good for them. I like Charlie Strong. I don't like Texas, but Charlie Strong's a damn good coach. He's going to be there next year and years to come, I think.
They end 5-7 with maybe an outside chance of at a bowl bit. I don't know.
Outside chance.
There's 77 teams that have
3, 5, and 7. I don't think Texas will. I don't think they're going to be one of the top 5 and 7 teams. But they also bring a lot of fans. So
I think they said, well, Nebraska should, because they're one of the top.
Yeah.
Missouri is next, and they are not accepting. They said they're going to.
Missouri sucks.
They're going to focus on getting a new coach, and then maybe Minnesota.
Yeah, they said Minnesota and Indiana had an outside chance.
I think Indiana was 6-6.
Okay, so Indiana.
So they're already in.
Okay.
I don't know who the other 5 and 7 team will be, but
either way, so Texas possibly with a bowl bid, but I don't know if Charlie Strong would want it or not. Yeah. Temple Houston also played yesterday morning.
It started out not too great. I mean, we both, or I took Houston, you took Temple, but that was kind of just because we like to pick against each other.
That was the only game we picked against each other.
But after we saw Houston dominate Navy, I don't think there was any question that they weren't going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Temple made it a game. It was actually, I watched a lot of it. They had a shot.
Yeah.
Houston's just, their quarterback's good, and Temple couldn't score touchdowns. They were just getting field goals.
Yeah.
And that wasn't enough to win them the game.
Yep. So Houston, congratulations on
Houston,
on your championship. I mean, they had a hell of a year, 12-1.
Yep. They should have been undefeated. They shouldn't have lost to UConn.
Yeah, but hey, 12-1. That's a hell of a season for Houston.
And they'll go to New Year's 6, potentially against Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Yep. It was a good season.
Florida State. I don't know. That's probably about it.
And we won't hear more about the rankings till later on today. We don't even know what the 5 through 10 in the college football playoff looks like right now.
As of right now.
We know what we think it should be. We have our predictions.
Well, and by the time this is uploaded, it could be...
we'll probably know.
We'll probably know, but as of right now, we don't know. We don't know any other bowl games
but the AP
that have been accepted.
The AP has a prediction right now on 5 through 10, and it's exactly what we think it should be. And we'll talk about that.
Certainly hope that's what it is.
We'll talk about it right now. So some of the games yesterday. So we had the Alabama-Florida game was a 3 o'clock game, which Florida. Obviously we thought no chance in hell Florida had winning the game. We even said if Alabama scores first, game's over.
And they got that safety.
They got a safety.
I go 2-0. It's over.
Game's over. But then they got a kick return. They went up 7-2, and I'm like, oh, not so fast. So.
They didn't score an offensive touchdown for like 7 quarters.
They didn't have a first down
in a row.
They didn't have a first down till the 4th quarter, and their last first down was in the 2nd quarter at the beginning with 14 minutes 53 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. It took them that long just to get a first down.
Well, at one time I saw yards was ridiculous. It was like 300 or 400 for Alabama, and it was like 83 for Florida. and first downs, it was 20-3.
Yeah, they are. Florida's offense is so bad.
Every time I literally would watch the game, I would and Alabama would punt, Florida would catch it. I'd like go to the bathroom, go into the kitchen,
Alabama's got the ball,
and I'd come back in and Alabama had the ball. I'm like, what the heck? And I know they threw an interception right away on one drive and something, but other than that, it was like 3 plays, 7 yards, punt.
Yep. So Alabama got the punt block, they got the field goal block. It's no surprise. Florida's struggled with their special teams all year. They had to have an open tryout for a field goal kicker at the beginning of the year because they were that bad. And the guy that's kicking now for field goals is the guy that won the tryout. It's just anyone to show up on the street or Florida and maybe a job.
I was like, how do you get a? It wasn't like a 50-some yarder. It was like a 40-yard field goal.
Just didn't get under it. Kicked it.
No, I know he didn't get under it that much, but the line got blown up. There was 3 guys that all had their hands up right in front of him.
The Florida offensive line is terrible. Their offense is terrible. Their quarterback is terrible.
Their run defense is pretty good.
Their defense, Florida's defense was pretty good. They had a good game, but when you're on the field 90% of the game, you're not going to be able to hold Alabama.
Again, another thing that flashed up was time of possession, and Alabama was at like 34 minutes, and Florida was at 13.
Yeah.
And it still wasn't even that far out of reach. The game wasn't at that
14-point victory. I mean, 29-15. I wasn't too impressed with Alabama, to be honest. But here's what won them the game. It wasn't Henry. He got the MVP, but he had 44 carries for 189 yards. I'm sorry, if you carry the ball 44 times in a game, 90 times in 2 weeks, if you're carrying the ball that much, you should have over 200 yards.
And you have a good offensive line, anybody can fall forward for 3, 4, 5 yards.
Yeah. And honestly, he didn't have a run over 8 or 9 yards until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he didn't have. They said the last game he didn't have a carry for over 10 yards was sometime during the year last year, and he had only had like a 9-yard was his longest. And it was in the fourth quarter, and then he got like a 20. He broke like a 17 or 22-yard run or something.
But I wasn't impressed with Alabama's offensive play calling. They used what's his name, Ridley, number 3, number 17. I can't remember his name, but I mean they both had really good games, and I would have given the MVP, the player of the game, to Coker.
Probably.
Coker had a hell of a game.
And I texted you, I said, they threw a touchdown. He threw a touchdown, and the ball was Peyton Manning wobbling. Yep. He threw, like, on the run off of like, a front foot, kind of one of these, like, 25 yards, 30 yards, and the ball was wobbling. And it was one of those, there was, like, 3 defenders around it, and the receiver kind of was running, and kind of stopped, and everybody else quit, and then he jumped up and caught it. Well, that wasn't, like, a great touchdown, but...
Well, I think he had like a 45-yard pass or something down the middle of the field to Ridley, and it was a great catch, no doubt.
Yeah.
But the one guy that was running with the receiver, as soon as he went to jump for the ball, the defender kept running. He didn't stop to jump with him. The guy coming behind for Florida did, and he almost got his hand on it. Hell of a catch, and they had another sweet catch in the corner of the end zone, but Coker by far was the player of the game. They could have had Henry on the bench the entire game, and Alabama still would have won that game.
Well, and something that I noticed, I mean, obviously Alabama has one of the best, if not the best, rush defense.
Yeah.
So I think in the second half, Florida had negative rushing yards at one point.
Oh, -3, yeah.
Their wide receivers, they were open.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And their quarterback's throwing behind them.
Florida's QB. Now this is the quarterback that was supposed to start at the beginning of the season. Supposed to start, but then he got caught with marijuana.
That's right.
So they started Grieve, whatever his name was, and then Grieve test positive for PED. So now they got to bring in this quarterback now who is eligible to play this season. He only got suspended for 1 game, but he lost his job because Grieve played really well. So now he comes in, and I don't know how he was going to be the starter at the beginning of the year. He was terrible.
Well, and
he can't run away from anybody, even if they started coming towards him. I mean, it's like he couldn't see him, and they'd be right in front of him.
Florida being
they just took a sack.
They were ranked 18th. I know they lost the number 2 team, but in my opinion, I mean, they'll probably still have them in the rankings, probably mid.
They'll probably be around 18, 19, 20. I mean,
but they're not.
They're not as good. Being in the SC championship game, and with how they won so many games on a last-minute field goal. I mean, they did not look good this year.
I know it's a championship game, and you can't like hurt somebody unless you're Wisconsin getting beat 59-0 in the conference championship game. Because the conference championship game is, it's a big game, and it was a decently close game.
Still 14 points to the Alabama, who they should have got their ass kicked.
So what I'm gonna say is, Florida State last week, they killed Florida at Florida.
Yeah.
That was a neutral site.
Yeah.
And
they wiped the floor with them.
And Alabama didn't wipe the floor with them.
Yeah. I don't think Alabama's a good team. I don't want to take anything away from him. Coker's good. Henry is good. I talk a lot of crap about him, but that's because I don't think he should be number one for the Heisman race. Everyone else, he scored a 2-yard touchdown. And the announcers, the stupid SEC announcers,
those guys,
they were terrible.
Those guys, I hate those guys.
But they go, oh, the presumed Heisman winner of this year just bowls his way into the end zone. Like, dude, 2-yard run.
And somebody that was with last night said, I don't know if he had a 12-yard run, or if they said if he gets 12 more yards, he'll be carrying some hardware home after the season.
He got close to 2,000
I
yards.
know that in that game last night, he set the SEC rushing record.
Yeah.
Which, is great. That's awesome. He did have a good year.
He probably has more carries than anybody else as well.
Yeah, those guys that set those records before him, were they carrying the ball for 46 times a game? 44 times a game?
When you're 50% of the play calling or more, I'm not impressed with that, because 44, they have a good offensive line. But 44 carries, 189 yards and a TD. Not that impressed. But Alabama gets the job done. SEC champs. I'm not even going to say congratulations, because I think everyone saw that coming.
Why don't you ask that Coke bottle? They'll give you a better answer.
It's Busch Light. All right, let's move on to the next game. So our next game started at 6:45, was the Stanford and USC game. Now, I saw this being a really good game, and it was.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch, and the second half, Stanford pulled away.
McCaffrey was awesome right off the bat.
Not even McCaffrey. You know who else can run the damn ball is Hogan.
Yeah.
Man, there was a couple times he ran the ball, and I'm like, oh, it's McCaffrey. And I'm like, oh, it's number 8. That's Hogan. What the hell?
And I know we'll get into this later, but this is why I want Stanford and Iowa to play in the Rose Bowl. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
But that was a good game. USC showed up. They played a good game. I'm not a fan of USC, but I love how their coach, their new coach, everyone's like, that was such a terrible hire for USC. No. It's only a terrible hire because nobody knows who he is. Yeah. But that's not the point. The kids love him. They played hard for him, and they had a hell of a season after Sarkisian left. And that's all I care about, because you got to remember, these are college kids.
Yeah.
They got their whole future ahead of them. Not all of them are going pro. They need a coach that they can rely on, not just some big name coming in that doesn't know who they are.
Like Sarkisian.
Yeah.
He comes in, and then obviously what happened. And they could have just, folded up their tent and called it a season. But instead, somehow, some way that we don't know, that coach rallied them to get them to where they ended their season. Why wouldn't you keep him around?
Yeah.
He's obviously doing something right.
And I think next year, watch out. I don't know where Kessler's at, but Kessler's a mediocre quarterback. I don't know what he is this year, if he's a junior, sophomore, but either way, he's a good quarterback. They got good wide receivers.
They're always going to, we talked about it before, they are always going to have talent. They're always going to have speed and talent.
But McCaffrey, let's talk about McCaffrey for a second, his stats yesterday. So McCaffrey, he's a sophomore.
God,
the dude's only a sophomore. Now, this is the son of Ed McCaffrey, Denver Broncos player. He also played at Stanford. But McCaffrey had 32 carries for 207 yards and a touchdown. Pretty darn good. Let's see. Under 40 carries and over 200 yards. Starting off better over Henry. 4 receptions, 105 yards and a TD.
4 for 105.
4 receptions, 105 yards.
What do you have? Do you have 50-yarder?
I think so. Yeah, he had a long one.
Yeah,
across the middle. He came out of the backfield and then he was gone. Almost 60 yards. It was a bomb. 5 kick returns for 120 yards. 2 punt returns for another 29 yards. Dude's just racking up yards left and right. He's the all-around best player in the country. And he had an 11-yard passing TD to Hogan. And that play was awesome. Yes. They probably could have ran that a couple more times in the red zone. 461 all-purpose yards.
He's got the all-purpose yards
record. He beat Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
You're talking about one of the best players in the game in Barry Sanders, and he's a sophomore.
Not only the college game, but the pro game.
He's a sophomore, and he has done better than Barry Sanders. If he doesn't win the Heisman, if he doesn't win the Heisman,
I know you're gonna be.
I'm gonna fly to New York. I'm gonna take that Heisman out of whoever else wins it, and I'm gonna give it to McCaffrey. I will be so mad because this.
You're gonna be flying to Tuscaloosa to take it from Henry.
If you're talking about the best player, the Heisman, do not taint this award because the Heisman is the best player in the country in college football. Not the best player on the best team, which is how it has happened. It's not just about on-field performance. It's about off-field. What's their character like?
So true.
And just hold on, get your thoughts out in a second. Winston never should have won it because his character was dog shit. Johnny Manziel never should have won it. His character is dog shit. I will be always pissed about those two guys winning the Heisman because that made it about something other than what this award is about. McCaffrey is a stand-up guy. He has good character, and he's the best player in college football.
So, a few years back, I kind of
I'm getting so heated up.
Said I was not gonna watch the Heisman anymore.
Whew.
Because it just goes to the best player on the best team. If you look at Heisman winners, a lot of them, you're like, wait, who was that? Who's Jason White? Did he play in the NFL? It just happens to be the best player on the best team. One thing I was gonna say was, if Deshaun Watson wins it, are you gonna be upset? I
won't be upset. I won't be upset. We'll talk about his stats in a second. I won't be upset.
But when Robert Griffin won it, that was kind of what turned me back to the Heisman because he was not on the best team, but he was the best player in college football that year.
He deserved it.
And I was extremely happy about that. I think, and I don't know who votes or who puts their vote in for the Heisman, but it's a television show.
Yeah.
That goes to somebody that you're seeing all the time that's on the top team. Yeah. I get it, but in my opinion, I think that they're going to give it to Henry, which I'm really going to be mad if they do. Yeah. But I think it should be Watson or McCaffrey.
Yeah, and maybe this playoff will be a decider. I can't remember, if these games make a difference. I don't know what they look at, but
the Heisman comes out before the games.
That's right. Okay, so
it'll come out in like 2 weeks.
So Henry, everyone's saying he's number one on the list. Obviously, as you can tell, not number one on my list. I got Watson and McCaffrey ahead of him. He's good. And no doubt, Henry is a good running back. I don't want to take away his skill and how good he is.
He'll be a great NFL running back.
He is like a
Eddie Lacy.
Like
T.J. Yeldon.
He's a big dude, and he can
got the hair tied up just like those
he can
guys
run. He can run fast. He can run over people. He can juke people.
He's a big guy. He's like 220.
A damn good running back. I just don't think he's the best player in the country when you're looking at an all-around player. Yep. And we'll talk about Watson here next, but I just don't think he's the best all-around player in college football. So let's look at the Clemson game. Clemson and North Carolina, Michigan State, Iowa, they all started at 7. Excuse me, those games started at 7 o'clock. Clemson, North Carolina. Everyone's thinking that might be a big buster. That would be the game.
There was a lot of people saying North Carolina was going to win that game.
Where North Carolina would win. Now, I think Clemson was only like a 3.5 point favorite.
It was 6.5.
6.5.
Which I thought should have been at least 10. But people were thinking North Carolina was going to beat them.
Mm-hmm. And it was a damn good first half. I mean, that game was fun to watch.
The first half
was
really
exciting.
Good.
Second
Clemson
half
scored what as time expired?
Yeah. Yep. And Clemson pulled away in the second half, but still, they only won by 8 points, 45-37. But all right, so we were talking about Clemson, North Carolina. We got interrupted by the fire alarm here. So
sorry about that, friends.
Anyways, so Clemson, North Carolina, it was a good first half. Clemson ran away with it in the second half. Big story in this game, a couple big stories. Watson was 26 of 42, had a really good game with 289 yards and 3 passing TDs. He also had 24 rushes for 131 yards and 2 TDs. I mean, this guy, once again, when you're talking about an all-around athlete, best player in college football, you have to have him and McCaffrey 1 and 2 in my mind. Yeah. Once again, not to take anything away from Henry, but he's a one-dimensional player. He's a running back.
And the other thing about him is he doesn't get catches.
No, he's not a receiver.
They don't throw the ball to Henry.
They never throw it to him. They never throw it to any of the running backs. They never have. Mark Ingram was never a receiver.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
And he won the Heisman.
That's not a bad thing, but when you're looking at all these players that are going to go to the Heisman, which in my mind is going to be Watson, McCaffrey, you're going to have, obviously, Henry. Baker Mayfield, I don't think he really deserves to be there.
When you're looking at when you're in the playoff.
When you're comparing him to all the other guys ahead of him. But Mayfield will be there. And Keenan Reynolds from Navy.
I think he should be. What do you have, the record for most touchdowns?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's well-deserved. Reynolds should be there as well. So you might see 5 guys there.
I know we talked about how we only thought there would be 3, but now I think there will be probably...
Well, the only reason why we thought there'd be 3 is no one saw Baker Mayfield, but now they're putting him in there. Reynolds, if he doesn't go, it's not going to shock me, but I think he should go.
Yeah.
He's not going to win.
It's a good story. Yeah, he won't win.
He should go.
He'll come in 5th, but...
It'd be cool to see him go.
Yeah.
But Clemson wins the game. They've been the best team in the country. I think it's the first time they were actually ranked in the top 10 at the beginning of the season. And stayed in the top 10 and played up to their potential. They've so many times they've been there, but they lose early and then they get knocked out and they don't play well. And Clemson, they deserve to be number 1. And anybody that thought Alabama was going to jump them is a joke. You have an undefeated Clemson team. They just won
the top 10 team.
They just won the ACC. They had 3 top 10 wins. Definitely deserve to be number 1.
And they beat a top 10 team, whereas Alabama played number 18 team.
Yeah. So definitely Clemson, well-deserving. Great game. It was fun to watch. The other game we want to talk about is Michigan State and Iowa.
All right.
Now,
probably one of the best games.
Probably one of the best Big Ten championships in a long time.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Iowa really showed what they're made of. Their defense came out strong. Both offenses struggled, but I think that's because of the defenses. Everyone freaked out, was really excited when Iowa scored that touchdown to go ahead.
That was nuts, man.
That was crazy.
That was nuts.
That was crazy.
I literally, right before that, I'm like, there's not been a touchdown in this game, and there hasn't been, a long play. And I said that,
Bam.
2 minutes before that happened.
Well,
85-yard touchdown pass.
And when it was 3-3 or 6-3, I was watching the game with Pooty, and he said, this might be a 12-9 game. He was serious. You might say field goal, that's all. And it very well could have been, and a lot of people see that as a bad game, but if you actually watched the game last night, and Jason mentioned it too, Iowa showed everybody, we're not just some Cinderella team. We actually have what it takes to play well against good teams. They showed it last night.
Well, and I'm sure there's probably people in the South or people here and there that are saying, well, both of those teams are just bad. But that's not the case.
Yeah,
they're 2 of the top 5 teams in the country. And obviously, I didn't think so, but the committee thought that was a big enough win for Michigan State to jump up to number 3.
Now, and here's my thought on it. I mentioned it when I got over here today. I said Michigan State could jump up to number 3, Oklahoma could drop to number 4, because they are, yes, Oklahoma is an outright Big 12 champ, but they don't have a championship game. So they play one extra game, Michigan State does, and they beat an undefeated Iowa. They are now Big Ten champs because of the championship game. I thought they had the possibility of jumping Oklahoma, and I just think I think it's right. A lot of people are going to think that they did that because everyone wants to see Oklahoma and Baylor, but hell,
Oklahoma and Alabama in the national championship.
Yeah, and Alabama. Oklahoma's not going to beat Clemson in my mind.
They said in the selection show, which take it how you want it, I guess, but because I think the same thing. I thought that that they didn't put Alabama and Oklahoma against each other at 2 and 3 because they think both those teams are going to win and they want those 2 teams to play in the national championship. But they said, if that's what people are thinking, then put Alabama and Oklahoma at 1 and 2, which they couldn't do that. But
there's still people that think
That Oklahoma should have been number 1.
They think they're the best team in the country. I completely disagree with you. Like, yes, they've had look at the Big 12. They have some teams in the top 25, but they're not that exciting to watch.
Oklahoma won like 3 big games in a row, but like they said,
backup
quarterbacks for every team.
Baylor, TCU, backup quarterbacks.
You can't take away, that they went on the run that they did, but they're playing. And I know a lot of guys get hurt and stuff, but when you play backup quarterbacks, they're focused on 1 week. They're going in like, all right, we're making a different game plan. We're gonna run the ball more. We're gonna have some design quarterback runs so we don't throw the ball and throw a whole bunch of interceptions. Whatever you want to take it as.
Yeah.
But I think Michigan State is probably ahead of Oklahoma in my mind. But I still think that they should have put Alabama on.
But here's what you're gonna have. You're gonna have 3 Big Ten teams in the top 10. That alone?
In the top 7, probably.
In the top 7, probably. So that alone, I mean, Michigan State, you're talking about Big Ten conference. Yeah, Big Ten, half the team struggled, half the team did really well. And you can't take anything away from Michigan State. They had a great game against Iowa. They won. They had 22 plays on that final drive to go down and score. They had third and fourth down conversions.
8+ minutes.
I mean, they
got the ball with 8 something left.
It's crazy.
They went 8 minutes and 22 plays.
That game was nuts. And that final drive, that was exciting.
It was
to watch.
a very impressive drive, yes. But you have to give some credit to Iowa. 22 plays, and it was maybe like a 75-yard drive. I mean, they're getting a couple yards of play. Iowa was not giving them anything.
Well, just about every play was...
Just like the whole game. They weren't giving them anything.
Every first down they got was 3rd or 4th down. They didn't get first and second down completions.
They were bringing the chains out to make sure they got the first down.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting, and that's what college football is all about. You don't see that in pro. In college, man, we've seen that so many times this year on last-minute drives that win games, and that's what makes the game so exciting.
And even then, it's 3rd and goal from the 1, and he barely gets in.
Yeah, I mean... It was crazy, man. That game was so exciting to watch, and I'm happy for the Big Ten. We both picked Michigan State to win the game. I thought they'd win by at least 10.
So did I.
I didn't think it'd be that good of a game, but Iowa showed everybody, hey, we're no joke. We are not a team that's just, hey, this is an amazing year and we play crappy teams. We are a good team. Put us up against anybody in the country, and we're going to show you
we
that
might not be all 4 and 5 star, recruits out of high school and stuff, but we got some big boys up front that we're gonna knock you around and not give you any inches.
Yep.
And that's what they did. I really hope they put Iowa and Stanford. I cannot see them dropping Iowa below.
I can see it happening, but I'd be super pissed if it does.
Because the way that Stanford and Iowa play, it would just be such a fun game in Rose Bowl.
Well, and with Michigan State jumping from 5 to 3,
that's what I'm saying.
How could you have Iowa drop below Ohio State?
Where
they don't see it happening.
Iowa lost by 3 to Michigan State. Ohio State lost by 3 to Michigan State. Both that was their only losses.
But Iowa made it to the championship game.
Ohio State played Michigan State at home.
Yeah.
Iowa played them at the Big Ten Championship and was winning most of the game. Ohio State was not.
And I don't even think you compare that. I think you say you had the Big Ten Championship loser at where they were at number 4 in the playoff. They won there in the playoff. They lost. I don't see you dropping them behind Ohio State. And I think it's going to happen, which is not cool.
Putting numbers aside, the committee puts the rankings with what they think the best is from top to bottom.
Yeah.
You would have to put Iowa ahead of Ohio State.
Yeah. So here's what we got in college football playoff. We got Clemson, Alabama, Michigan State, Oklahoma. So we know the matchups for the playoff. We know what we're going to see on New Year's Eve.
We're going to see Michigan State and Clemson in the championship.
We're going to see Clemson, Oklahoma play, and we're going to see Alabama, Michigan State. I think there's going to be good games. I think they're both going to be good. Michigan State can stop the run. They're really good at stopping the run. Now, they say they don't pick these teams, these matchups. They don't play matchups. Who's better stopping the run, Oklahoma or Michigan State? Michigan State. So you got Michigan State playing Alabama. and who's got a better pass defense and better offense, Clemson or Oklahoma. Those teams are going to play each other. They're good matchups, they are. But I still kind of think maybe they made these matchups for a reason.
Again, it's a television show.
But I also believe Michigan State deserves to be number 3.
They're games, but it's a TV show. It's about...
I would have loved to see Stanford jump them.
And people are going to watch the games regardless.
Yeah.
It could have been, I know that Iowa's not like a hot, like, a big name like Oklahoma, Alabama type of team. But if they would have been in there... people would still watch.
And I also don't think we're going to see what we saw last year where Oregon kicked the crap out of Florida State and Jameis Winston.
It's not going to be like that.
I just don't think it's going to be like that. The Heisman winner, he was terrible in that game. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think these 4 teams are the best teams in the country, minus maybe slipping Stanford in there. But I think they're the best teams in the country, and I think it's going to be great matchups. I think they're going to be good games. Everyone shows up in the playoff. I mean, you have to. You're playing for the championship.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I think the games. I mean, I can't say that I didn't like the games last year because, I don't like Ohio State, but they played Alabama. And then the Big Ten. Yeah, I was cheering for them.
You got to love Ohio State.
And they rolled them up. It was awesome.
What if the Big Ten beats Alabama again? Big Ten over SEC again. Bring on some Big Ten.
Not only
SEC
Big Ten
matchups.
over SEC, but Big Ten over Alabama. That's just awesome.
It's just even better. 5 through 10.
And Michigan State lost to Nebraska.
Yes, they did. 5 through 10. We don't know what's going to be like till about 2 o'clock, which by that time this video will be on. Hopefully, depends on how long we keep talking. But I think we're going to have Stanford, the Pac-12 champ, at number 5. I agree. Iowa's going to be at number 6. Ohio State at number 7. Notre Dame's going to be at number 8. 9, you're going to have Florida State. 10, you're going to have North Carolina. So not a ton of movement. You're going to have a little bit here and there, but I mean, really,
I know that it doesn't.
Pac-12 champ.
Well, it doesn't matter that much, aside from the Iowa Ohio State.
That's the only thing that matters.
That's probably the only thing that matters as far as which team's going to go to the Rose Bowl and which team's going to go to the Fiesta Bowl or the Peach Bowl or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think Iowa Stanford would be fun to watch.
I think so too. I hope that's what they do. If they're talking matchups, then I think that's what they should pick. Even though Ohio State's a bigger name. I could see that, but
because the Rose Bowl, they pick off the highest ranked Big Ten team against the Pac-12 champ. Unless they're in the playoff, they go to the next highest ranked Pac-12 and the highest ranked Big Ten. So I think Iowa should be number 6. Okay. I don't think Ohio State should jump them.
They went to the conference championship game. Ohio State did not. They deserve to be.
And they shouldn't jump 3 spots, and Ohio State shouldn't jump them. I mean that's my feeling. So. Yeah. Hopefully that's how it goes.
As far as some of the other New Year's 6 games go, like we said, Oklahoma State and Ole Miss are already a lock for the Sugar Bowl, which
you might see.
Don't really care about that game.
You might see Notre Dame in a New Year's 6 bowl.
Notre Dame is going to be in a New Year's 6 bowl. I would almost guarantee it. Who they're going to play? I've seen maybe Ohio State.
I would love that.
That would actually be sweet. I've seen maybe a Florida State, which would be kind of cool too. Mm-hmm. And I've seen maybe Houston, which I know
that could be a good
Notre Dame
too.
Fans wouldn't like because it's not like a big time name. But I think it actually could be a pretty good game because they've played common opponents this year.
Yeah,
they've played Temple, both teams,
and Notre Dame almost lost to Temple.
No, Notre Dame beat Temple close.
Yeah, that's what I said. They almost lost to Temple.
Oh, they almost lost to Temple. Yeah. They played Navy, and Notre Dame won by 14 or 16, and Houston won by 21. So I mean, could be pretty intriguing.
A good matchup,
even though it's not like a popular, hot name, big time name or whatever. Yeah. But the New Year's 6 bowls are going to be good because I think Houston, Tom Herman, he's going to be the next big time coach.
Yeah,
went from Ohio State offensive coordinator. Houston's a pipeline. They had, 2 or 3 big-time college football coaches.
They get good quarterbacks, too.
Yeah, they get good talent there.
Good talent in Houston, so we'll see. Anything else? I think we're pretty much good. I mean, we talked about a lot today.
We can talk a little bit about, something like where Nebraska might end up in a bowl game.
Everyone's saying Farm Foster's Bowl, which would be on my birthday.
At 8:15 on a Saturday night, yes, sweet, I want that.
Because that means I can go party on my birthday and watch Nebraska win.
Well, not with that. I don't want Nebraska playing. I don't want my team playing a bowl game, even if it's not a big bowl game.
At 2 o'clock on a Monday.
At 2 o'clock on a Monday or Tuesday. People have to work. I can't just be like, yeah, sorry, I'm out. No, I can't do that. I've done that. I can't do it all the time. So,
but
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see more bowl games come up very soon over the next couple of days. Not everything's going to be decided today, probably, because there's some teams that are going to have to accept their bid prior to those bowl games coming out. But what we will have, once those bowl games come out, we're going to put the bowl games, we're going to rank them as far as confidence points.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably have another one just based on wins, who we think are going to win. So we'll do 2 separate bowl game pools. We might even throw some money in it. But if you guys are interested, we'll actually put a blank one on our Facebook. You guys can print it out, or you can print out your own, and you can show us what you got, upload a document or something on our Facebook, and we'll have a nice little pool going on our 2 Average Guys page on Facebook, and I think that could be kind of fun for shits and giggles.
Sure. One other thing, I guess, only other note, is I guess if Alabama would have lost yesterday, I could have seen them very seriously considering going to an 8-team playoff if the SEC would have gotten left out. We were talking about this yesterday. I was talking to a couple people about it. I mean, how quick, if ever, do you think that they'll go to an 8-team? I mean,
never. I don't think they will, because someone was like, all right, I think you and I talked about it. You put the 5 conference champs in, but if you have a conference champ that has 3 losses, do they really
4?
Do they really deserve to?
USC could have won last night and had 4 losses.
Do they really deserve to be in the playoff? No. So I don't think they'll ever go to an 18 playoff.
And there's just a lot more intrigue. Like, there's 5 power conferences, and there's only 4 spots.
Yeah.
So.
And this year the Pac-12.
Let's see who's going to get left out.
This year the Pac-12's left out, even though I think it's the toughest conference.
Yeah.
But they get left out because
the Big Ten's pretty good conference.
I think Pac-12 is a stronger conference as far as power. Big Ten's right there. SEC this year was not up there. Even the
ACC was better than they were last year.
They were better, but I still don't see them being 1 or 2 or 3 in the standings as far as power rankings. But I don't see the Big 12 up there either.
Big 12 had a lot of their big time teams had injuries to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And just took a big hit.
I don't think they'll ever go to an 18 playoff. I don't think there's a reason to, because a 14 playoff causes more controversy and it makes it more exciting,
more dramatic.
If you have 8 teams and you're saying the 5 conference champs are going to be in, like I said, you got 4 losses and you can still get into the playoff. And then what if you run the table and you win it with 4 losses? To me, I just don't think it's well deserving.
That's true.
I don't think it'll ever happen. And they've talked about it before. They said, it's always going to be 4 teams. I think it always should be 4 teams. If you look at our top 10 right now and what we think in the AP has what we thought 5 through 10 should be. I mean, if you put those top 8 teams in, to me, holy shit, that's exciting.
Well, you'd have Notre Dame against Clemson rematch.
And you'd have Ohio State.
Could go either way.
Ohio State, Bama. Iowa, Michigan
Which was
State.
a rematch of last year's playoff.
Iowa, Michigan State, which they wouldn't put those two teams against each other again. But Stanford, Oklahoma, I mean, you could have so many good matchups. I just don't think it's right for college football.
They would have flip-flopped.
I think
Oklahoma and Michigan State.
I think those top 4 teams, I think they got it right this year. I think it was a little bit easier this year than last year.
It hasn't been until this last week.
And I still think Oklahoma is kind of one of those teams that I'm still not sold on.
I'm with you, but
I'm not sold on them.
We said the same thing about Ohio State last year going into that playoff.
Ohio State kicked the shit out of everybody 5 games in a row.
True.
Which is what got them into the playoff, and they kicked the crap out of Wisconsin in the Big Ten Championship, which is what got them in.
It's true.
But I'm not buying into Oklahoma yet.
Like we've said all year, I mean, Clemson is the only undefeated team left. But no one has been, dominant.
Yeah.
So, any of those 4 teams could come out on top. Any of them. I just hope it's Michigan State or Clemson.
So next week, we got one game. One game on Saturday.
Mm.
And Navy's wearing some pretty sweet gear. And
I saw you. Yeah, you posted that.
Those helmets. I mean, this is the first time the NCAA has ever allowed players to wear different helmets.
That's
ever.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Which, thank you NCAA, because finally you're breaking the rules a little bit, and those helmets are so cool. I'm excited to see it. And we're gonna get some close-ups.
I like Navy, and Army's not very good. I know that's like their biggest game of the year.
Yeah. But when is Army really good? Besides,
Navy's gonna roll them up, like they should, like they always do. But
Reynolds is gonna have a good game. Secure a Heisman spot.
I think so.
Go to New York. Take a helicopter ride. Maybe I'll be taking a helicopter ride, depending on who they give the award to.
Who they give the award to?
I'll take a private jet. Screw the helicopter.
Just take a private jet out there with Crouch.
Or maybe I'll go talk to Warren Buffett and
Maybe he'll send you and Crouch out there together.
Anyway,
because you know Eric Crouch always goes.
Eric will be there.
That's his favorite day of the year.
It's his life. But anyway, so anything can happen in those playoff games. I think it's gonna be exciting. I think we're gonna see a lot of good bowl matchups. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun next few weeks.
Yeah, once the bowl games come out,
I don't know what the hell we're gonna do as far as our show, but we'll figure it out once the dates and everything come out.
We'll probably just like pop in every now and again and be like,
we'll do some more.
All right, so Western Michigan against. No, I'm just kidding.
we'll do some videos and shit. I don't know. We'll do something fun. We'll spice it up. We got some new stuff coming next year too. Some new exciting stuff. Possibly a new venue for our show.
That's true. And I know we talked about having people.
We'll have some guest stars next year.
We'll have to do that.
We'll give you a tour of our new facility next year.
Well, and if
for next year, it might actually happen in a couple weeks.
If we do that, then we almost could have a guest star because we could have some more room and
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe some phone calls.
And I've been working on a website, so we might actually have a website where you guys can interact and we can interact with you a little bit more. Our producer can interact a little bit more as well. So some stuff to look forward to next year.
Maybe T-shirts, maybe hats.
Maybe T-shirts and hats. You guys can buy stuff from us. It's gonna be exciting.
Snuggies.
Hey, Snuggies. Snuggies are cool. People buy those. So maybe some Crocs. I don't know. Anyways.
Bobbleheads.
Oh, have a Jimmy bobblehead. That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be sweet.
With or without the beard, I don't know. All right, we got nothing else. Thanks for joining in today. Just our opinions, but we think they got it right with the playoff, and I'm looking forward to talking about some more games here in the coming weeks. So have a great day, everybody, and go Big Red.
See you next time.